Good morning. How you doing today? Welcome to Wednesday. And today we're going to talk about ChatGPT. Pretty interesting stuff. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button down there. Turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell. Turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each time I go live or if I upload a video. So have you heard of ChatGPT? If so, put something in that chat box there. Let me know that you've heard of it. It was funny yesterday. I was training my video editing guy, and he's in the Philippines, and he's never heard of ChatGPT. And I think that may be true for a lot of us out there that, and I say us, I do know about it, but for people who are not into technology, people who don't get into this stuff every day, they have no clue what's coming. So in this video, it's really important. Your job could be at jeopardy, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because there's other things you can do. And I want to share those with you at the end of the training today. And do me a favor, make sure you put some comments in that chat box. I love the interaction, love when you guys ask questions. I love when you just say comment, that's fine too. Tell me where you're at. Tell me what the weather is like. It doesn't matter as long as you're participating. Participation is so important. So very important. You need to participate to really move forward. So many people don't get that. But this ChatGPT thing is boom, mind-blowing. It really is. And I want to talk about first, before we get into who's going to lose their job, which people are going to lose their job. That is a fact. People are losing jobs over ChatGPT. And you may not understand it quite yet, but I think by the end of this training, you will. So let's talk about what ChatGPT is and what it is not. ChatGPT is fed information. Every time somebody asks a question, every time somebody requires whatever from ChatGPT, they're going to get a response. So how does ChatGPT know anything at all? Well, they fed it the internet. Okay, that's what they did. They fed it everything on the internet through 2021. So it knows a lot of stuff. It can draw upon all that stuff and give you answers. Paul's got oh no, this is Susan. I'm sorry. Susan says, I have heard about it, but do not know many details about it. I am in gorgeous Tennessee. Hey, I actually went to high school in Tennessee. I went to high school in Memphis, Tennessee. Rough town, rough neighborhood, rough people back then. Still very rough. I don't know what part of Tennessee you're from, but you're welcome to put that in the chat box there. I'd love to hear that. So what ChatGPT is it's artificial intelligence. It can do conversational things with you. So when I ask it, hey, ChatGPT, can you write a book for me? It'll say, sure, I can write a book for you. What would you like the book about? And I can say, well, I want a book that is about raising children for a single parent who is over 30, who lives in the South, who does not have a college education. And it will literally write a book in that format. I can say, you can write the book in the format of how Snoop Dogg would talk, and it will write a book in that format. I can tell it I want 300 pages or 400 pages or whatever, and I want 12 chapters, and it will do that. The more information you give ChatGPT, the more it will be really spot on. Now there's a lot of chat prompt sites now. What is a chat prompt site? A chat prompt site is where you can go to and you can spend $2, $3, $5 and get the questions that you need to enter into ChatGPT to get the results you want. Now that sounds insane, right? There's already people making money off chat prompts. So what could ChatGPT do? And keep in mind, it's not the only AI out there. It is the main one right now. It is huge right now, but it's not the only one that's out there. So there are other ones. Grew up in Tennessee, lived many years in Nashville area, and now in Johnson City. Oh, very cool. I still got friends in Memphis. I talk to all the time. So it's really good to have you here today, Susan. So ChatGPT, let me tell you what it isn't. It doesn't draw pictures right now, although there is AI that does draw pictures. So you can describe a picture and it will actually draw it for you. So who's it going to hurt? Well, some of the obvious players are going to be customer service people. Customer service jobs is the most common one that could just go away, essentially. Many times in customer service jobs, if you notice, you'll call up and you'll try to get customer service, and all of a sudden, they're like, okay, can you hold on for a second? And what they're doing Oops, grew up in Chattanooga. Okay, very cool. But what they're doing is they're going to the internet or they're going to their frequently asked questions and they're trying to research that information. The advantage that ChatGPT has is that they instantly can grab that information. They don't have to put you on hold or anything like that. They can grab that information and give it to you. They can answer the frequently asked questions. They can track your order for you. They can figure out where your order is. They can do all that stuff without a human having to type all that into a computer. It just knows. So those jobs are pretty much going to be replaced by ChatGPT. There's really not much you can do about that. Another job that is going to be probably going away is receptionist jobs. It can be automated by ChatGPT. Virtual assistants, receptionist jobs, chat bots can be programmed to greet visitors. They can answer phone calls. This means that receptionists may be replaced by chatbots, and leading to job losses in the hospitality arena and administration industry. So those are some lower end jobs. Now, as we bump up the ladder, we can look at like sales jobs. A chat box can give you all the information you want to actually buy something. And keep those comments coming, guys. I love to have those in here. Chat box can be used to handle sales inquiries. They can provide product recommendations. They can answer pricing questions, and they can complete the transaction. If somebody wants to buy it, they can say, hey, did I answer all your questions? Would you like to move forward with your sale now? And they can actually process that sale. This means that human sales representatives may not be needed. Now, certainly, certain levels of salespeople are always going to be needed because they're going to need to convince people and all that. But I tell you what, this AI is getting real close to where it can convince people by providing the right information. They can be programmed to handle scheduling, email management, other administrative tasks. So like a personal assistant job could be going by the wayside, which is kind of scary, right? There's a lot of personal assistants that are on, like, say, Fiverr or Upwork or freelancer.com. Their job could be going away. It could be gone. These chat bots can do all of this for you. This means there's a lot of job losses going to be in executive and administrative assistant industries. Those could go away. The one big thing is people who write content. People who write content, man, they need to be scared. I know of a copywriter guy, and I was friends with him, but he got so political that I finally unfriended him. But he teaches people how to write content and, descriptions and whatever. And all he does is talk bad about AI at this point. And I know why he talks bad about it, because he's worried. He's scared. He knows that he could potentially just be out of work. And I tell you, I went in there and played with ChatGPT, and I wrote a book. I wrote some blogs. I wrote recipes. I wrote all kinds of stuff. You can say to ChatGPT, here's a can of chicken, which we sell, long-term food storage. And it's 14 and a half ounces. And I need 8 recipes that involve, 5 to 6 ingredients, and all of them need to be different. And I want to use Mexican, Italian, Vietnamese, and I could list all the different cuisines and say, make me these 10 recipes or 8 recipes. And within seconds, it's going to spit out those recipes for me. So that's pretty interesting. I can say, here's a product that I have online, and it is for long-term food storage. It's, survival food storage. And these are the keywords that I want you to use. And I want you to write me a product description for it, detailing everything about the product. Here's a link if you need to look at the product, and it will go look at the product. It will take the information you gave it, and it will write your product description. That's crazy. That's crazy, because there's people who make a living doing this content writing. They do this every single day, and yet this AI can actually replace them. Let's say you write blogs. I already saw a story about this. There was a company, and let me get a sip here real quick. And they wrote blogs for websites, okay? Content blogs. People would say, hey, we're in the dental industry and we need a bunch of, dental related blogs written. Here's our keywords. Well, I can feed that into ChatGPT and it can do it for me. So this company was writing about 5 or 6 or 10 blogs a day. I can't remember what it was. Now it can write 10,000 blogs a day because of ChatGPT. It's really insane. Now, at this juncture, it's free. Doesn't cost you anything to use ChatGPT. With this caveat, if you want to use ChatGPT, Sometimes it's down. I checked it this morning and it's down because I wanted to pull some information out of it. So it's not working right now. It's also not always that fast. I was trying to demonstrate it to my videography guy who does my editing, and it was really slow. But they have a paid version that is $20 a month, and at $20 a month, apparently it's not down as much, and it's a lot faster and all that. But guys, this is a game changer. This really is. It also knows everything medical. So since it knows everything medical, it can diagnose patients. And they say that it is better for diagnosing patients than a regular doctor is. When you take a whole bunch of doctors, not that they're wrong, I'm just saying overall, it has more information than the doctors. And saying, so how do we write content, best protect ourselves and take advantage of the service? I'm going to go over that in just a second. That's an excellent question. That's exactly why we're here. Because there's no point in going, oh my God, you're going to lose your job, and then you're just running off and going, well, that's the way it is. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to go through all that with you in just a second. That's going to be the ending of this video, because, buddy, I'm telling you, all of us are going to be affected by this. Every single one of us are going to be affected. Now, like with all technology, we can say, oh my God, my life's over with. What do I do? Or we can say, oh my God, this is a huge opportunity. How can I take advantage of it? Like Susan just said. And she's right. We need to take advantage of this. We need to be able to use this. Now, what's the possible consequences of all this? Well, while the risk of chatbots and virtual assistants may bring a lot of benefits, such as increased efficiency, lower costs, there also could be possible consequences for those workers who could be losing their jobs. They may need to find new jobs in other industry, which may require them to learn new skills and gain new qualifications. They may need to also start using their own business or, perusing entrepreneurial type things. Chatbots and virtual assistants really could be beneficial in many, many different ways. There are also potential consequences for workers who may be losing their jobs. As the workforce continues to evolve, it's important to consider the impact of technology on jobs. Now, it's so funny because I talk to people on a phone, every now and then at our business, and they'll say things like, well, I didn't grow up with technology, so I don't know much about it, so I don't really use it, and I don't want to put my credit card in online, so can you just take my order over the phone? Which is the funniest thing in the world, because they did grow up with it. Everybody grew up with it. If you know about it now, you grew up with it. Now, maybe you were older when it came along, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn it. It doesn't mean that you weren't around as all these things evolved. You just chose to ignore it. You chose to turn your back on it and not learn anything. I know in 2009, I started my business online, and, I was one of those people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about technology, but I did flip and say, you know what, I can learn anything I want about technology. And I was starting an online business, and I got made fun of because, a lot of my friends and relatives would say, JR, you can't even type. How are you going to start an online business? To this day, I can't type very well. I don't type right. I use like 3 fingers on one hand and 2 on another, but I figured it out. And you guys, you can adopt this stuff. You can, use it to your advantage. So let's talk about some of that right now. I'm going to give you probably about 10 things you can do to protect yourself and probably make more money. I watched a video the other day, which was pretty cool. They took ChatGPT and they said to ChatGPT, they said, I want to write a YouTube video script, and I want it to be about the 10 best restaurants, and say, and I'm making this up as I go, Austin, Texas. I want you to give me the details about these restaurants, and I want you to write me a script. ChatGPT, within 10 seconds, wrote the entire script. And they also said, okay, make it 12 minutes long. Okay, so you can put a time limit on. The more information you give ChatGPT, the better the result's going to be. So anyhow, 12-minute video comes out, entire written script. Then they went over to a site called Pictory, Pictory.ai, Pictory.ai. Now, what you can do in Pictory is you can upload a script and you separate it by paragraphs. And as you do that, it will insert videos about what you're talking about. And this particular one inserted videos about the different restaurants in town, which I thought was really cool. And I saw another person who did it, and it was like, give me the top 5 breeds of dogs that are good for a family who's just getting a dog. And it went out and picked out all the breeds. They fed it into Pictory. And then it did videos of, B-roll of videos as it went through the script. And you can also add an audio to it. So what they've done is they've taken AI of writing a script. They used Pictory to make the video. They added the audio to it. They uploaded the video to YouTube and they started a channel. And there's people out there right now that have YouTube channels that aren't talking, aren't creating anything, but they're using this AI technology to make an entire channel. And the voices are unreal. You can say, I want an Italian accent, or I want a Southern accent. I want a man, I want a woman. I want a person who sounds concerned. You can put emotion into the voice. All of this is through AI. So let's talk a little bit about how you can protect yourself and what we can do about all this stuff. We're doing good on time? Yeah, we're only halfway there. First off, and this is the big one, stay informed. Don't put your head in the sand and go, oh my God, this is coming along, it's gonna put me out of work. I'm sure when cars came along and there was a bunch of blacksmiths out there, they were like, oh my God, my life's over with. But I'm sure there were also blacksmiths out there who shoot horses and knew that they weren't gonna have a job, learned how to work on cars. They became mechanics. So all you do is just switch what you're doing. And I know familiarity is comfortable. It's really comfortable to keep doing what you're doing because you know how to do it and you know all about it, but you need to stay informed. You need to really research this. I don't want this to be the only video you watch on ChatGPT. I think right now, if you were to go to YouTube and type in, how do I use ChatGPT? You're going to find thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of videos already. Now, this was only introduced in November of last year. And it's really been open to the public, I think just recently, I'm not sure. But you need to stay on top of all the developments, the trends, the applications that could affect your industry. And I don't care what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like I'm in online marketing and selling stuff online and making money. It affects my industry. If I was a physician, it would affect my industry. If I was in food service, it would affect my industry. And I can tell you, food service people, gosh, watch out because I've seen so much in food service. We have a restaurant in town here, excuse me, and it's an Indian restaurant, and they have a robot that goes back to the kitchen and it knows what orders it's picking up, and they're put on these shelves, and the robot goes through the restaurant and delivers the meals to people and to the to-go counter and all that. And when it pulls up, it stops, it knows where it's at, and it says, please take your food. I mean, that saves a lot of money. Now, these things are expensive. I think that restaurant one is like $3,500 a month. But when you figure in how much it costs to have a human do that job and their payroll taxes and unemployment insurance and them getting sick and them not showing up for work and then having to rehire somebody else, when you factor in all that stuff, it's not expensive. It's not expensive at all. So the next thing I'm going to tell you, number 2, is to develop new skills. And this is always true. I don't care if new technology comes out or not. You can always develop new skills. I do this all the time. I'm always reading something, looking at something. Identify new skills that are in demand in your industry. What's going on in your industry? What is changing in your industry? Learn those things. Invest in training and education to develop these skills. I think that's so very important to do that. And so many people don't want to do that. They're like, I don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend any money. Well, if you don't spend money and get better at what you do or learn new things, you're going to be left behind. And this has always been the case. It's not just this AI thing. The AI thing is probably the biggest thing I've ever seen. They got 1 million new users in 1 week. And to put that in perspective, it took Facebook a year to do that. So in 1 week, they got 1 million new users. So there must be something to it. Now, a lot of people who are afraid of losing their jobs are going to say it's not going to work. You can't use it. It won't work. Especially content writers, people who do blogs, people who write scripts. They're going to say, oh, this AI is no good. It's nothing like a human. And Google can tell if it's written by AI, and Google can tell if it's written by AI. That's why there's also sites that can check the content that you have and have you rearrange it so that Google can't tell. There's already sites like that. You enter in the text and it tells you what percent it thinks is written by AI. You make some changes in your script or book or whatever it is, and you're off to the races. You can do that. The other thing you can do, I mean, if you really, really want to, take control of this, is find an entirely different new niche. Find something different. Identify new areas where your existing skills and experience can be applied, and explore new opportunities in emerging industries. Okay, what is big out there now? How can you be part of it? And you know, computers and AI is really, it's the way to go nowadays. It really is. That's number 3, by the way. Number 4, you can build your network. And I think this is super important. I'm always talking to people all around me in stores, at meetings, anywhere I go. I stay in touch with friends from 30 some odd years ago. I always stay in touch with people. I think it's really important. You can build your professional network and connect with others in your industry, which is really important, both online and in person. This can help you stay informed about a new job opportunity or industry trends. If you just want to switch jobs and you don't want to adapt, you can certainly do that. And a lot of people do that. The next thing I think is really the way to go, and this is what I did in the beginning, is number 5 is start a side hustle. Okay, that's what I did. I started selling stuff online. I learned to sell stuff online while I was still at my job. This is really important, guys. I did, you know, I remember a news article, excuse me, it was a video interview on TV, and it was about this company, and they were going out of business, and they were a big company, and they had employed thousands of people, and they interviewed this guy. And he said, I've been working here 31 years. He says, what am I going to do now? 31 years. This is all I know. And I have no other skills. There's nothing else I can do. I've worked for this company. I've poured my heart into this company, and now they're going out of business. I really feel like I was wrong. Now, what's up with that? Okay. It's a job. Okay. This guy is owed nothing from the company. They went out of business because they had to, not because they wanted to. They went out of business. But what did he do with his time when he got off work? What did he do with his evenings? What did he do with his weekends? I mean, he could have studied to be a brain surgeon on the side. What are you doing with your extra time? Are you investing that extra time and getting better at what you do? I started a side hustle. I started selling stuff online. It grew into a multi-million-dollar business. Are you doing something like that? Or are you just showing up for work every day and going home and then turning on the TV and going to sleep and getting up and repeating it? You've got to invest in some type of side hustle, no matter what you do. You've got to totally educate yourself in different areas. Consider doing some type of freelance business in a related field. How could you build new skills? How could you use AI yourself? Maybe you could write blogs for people or content for people. Not everybody is going to go, like a company, let's say, who needs 10 blogs a month. They're not going to necessarily go to ChatGPT and go, all right, let me start writing some blogs. They're not going to do that. They're still going to look for people to do that stuff for them. The only difference is now when you do it for somebody, you can do it instantly. You can do it very quickly. You can churn out content so much faster. It's like that company I was telling you that was producing, I don't know, 5 or 10 blogs a day. They went to 10,000 blogs a day because they had the technology to do it. Now, how could you employ that? How could you do that? Number 6 is you could pursue having your own business. How could you take ChatGPT and, you know, meld it into your life and make it a new business? And guys, keep the comments coming. I love to get your comments. There's a bunch of you here. There's a bunch of you listening, but I want to hear your comments, see what you got to say. I love to have that in there. I love to have your questions. Consider starting your own business. Start an entrepreneurial venture. Why not you? You can say, well, I've never done that before, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's ever done it before who hasn't done it. I've never done it before until I did it. You know, it doesn't matter. You can do these things. These are things that you can do. These are things that you can make money with. And now's the opportunity. I'm telling you right now, ChatGPT is brand new. The majority of the world doesn't even know about it. It's going to change the world in so many different ways. Now, it is programmed, I will tell you this, to not get involved in certain areas. Any type of pornography, any type of political stuff. You know, I typed in there, what is going to be the outcome of the war in Ukraine, because I knew it knew a lot about it. And it refused to answer. It says it doesn't make any predictions about wars or political things. So there's certain things in there it's going to block. It's not going to let you do it. I just wanted to see what it would do and what it would say. I thought that would be interesting. And guys, like I said, questions, put them in there while you got a chance to do this. Number 7 is stay positive. You know, we can look at technology advancing. And, you know, I've watched this over the past few years. Walmart. Let's take Walmart for a second. I remember at Walmart, at the far end of like 25 registers, there was a self-checkout thing. And there was a person there watching the self-checkout people. And there's like 4 or 5 cash registers there where you could do self-checkout. And then a couple of years later, I noticed on the other end, they had self-checkout. So now they got self-checkout on one end and the other, and then they got all the cashiers in the middle. Now, if you go into the Walmart here in Cedar Park, Texas, there is all self-checkout with a few cashiers in the middle. So it's eventually squeezing these people down to nothing. I see the same thing happening in Costco. The line for the self-checkout is extremely long. The line with the cashiers is much shorter. What's interesting to me is the people, and I apologize, my throat's a little bit dry today. The people that are working at a Walmart, that's working at a Costco, shoot, any place where there's a cash register, they've got to realize that their job's going away. If you work in a restaurant, and this is about staying positive, but I'm just saying you also got to be observant. If you work at a restaurant right now, here's how I see a restaurant. I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to tell you what a restaurant's going to look like at the end of this video. So you got to stay positive. Focus on the opportunities. There's a lot of them. It's changing the job market, but what are the opportunities for you as an individual? How can you use this? How can you take this technology that's new and become a millionaire? Because people are going to do it. And my question to you is, why not you? So think very positive about this. The other thing you can do is volunteer. If you think your job's going to go away, volunteer at different places and you're going to meet new people. You're going to make new contacts. Different things are going to come about. If you volunteer, people are going to, well, this is a nice person. They're volunteering. Let's see, Susan says, I love your attitude towards dealing with challenging changes in technology and how best to make a positive outcome more likely. Thanks. Thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate that. And it's a fact, though. It really is. This is a huge opportunity. I don't care what you do for a living. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. This is an opportunity. Some of you listening to this are going to take this and you're going to go out and you're going to apply it and you're going to make millions of dollars. I'm telling you, people are doing it right now. There's people, like I said, who have YouTube channels right now that are entirely AI generated, and they can put up a video much faster than I can because they're using AI to write the scripts, to put the video together, to do the edits, to do the voiceover, and they're not putting in as much work as me, and they can put out more videos. I like the human touch of a real person on a video. And there are AI right now that you can actually have a person talking. You could say, I want somebody in their mid 50s who looks sophisticated, who dresses like a business person, who has a Southern drawl, and it'll build an avatar that will talk an AI voice. I mean, it's really crazy what's out there. And if you don't know that, search some of this stuff, you'll see it. Next thing, number 9, embrace lifelong learning. This is something I think a lot of people don't do. They get out of high school and they quit learning. They get out of college and they quit learning. They think that institutionalized education is all that they need for their entire life. And that's just not the case. And here's why. Everything changes around you. Everything changes constantly around you. And since everything's changing, if you're not changing, if you're not learning, you're going to have problems. You need to learn new skills. I mean, I see this stuff and I get excited. I'm like, oh man, how can I use this to make some more money? And I've already identified several ways to make more money with it. As a matter of fact, I don't want to blow your mind, but a lot of the information that you're listening to today was written by ChatGPT. So what I did is I said, I want to know what jobs are going to be affected, and I want to know what things that we can do about it. And I had ChatGPT write this. So if you like this content, you can pat ChatGPT on the back for this, because it wrote a lot of the content. Now, did I change it? Did I add to it? Of course I did, because it's me, and I don't want just a computer teaching you stuff. The next thing you can do, number 10, if you're really worried about your job, is you can, and I'm going to talk to you about what's going to happen to restaurants too, so hang in here. That's going to be the icing on the cake. It's going to blow your mind. But you can seek professional guidance. You can seek the guidance of a career coach or a professional mentor who can help you identify your strengths and all that stuff to help you find a new job. But let's talk about the restaurant industry. This stuff, this AI is going to blow your mind. All right, think about this. First off, when you go to a restaurant, what are some of the steps you have to go through? Let's say you want to go to a restaurant that's usually busy. You may have to call up. You may have to be put on hold. You got to tell them you want a reservation. You got to tell them what the date's going to be and the time and all that. Then when you get to the restaurant, they're kind of guessing on that. And there's no receptionist at the stand when you walk in. So you're standing there like 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is a long time to be standing for a receptionist. And then finally she comes up and then she says, let me pull up your reservation. And then she can't find it. And then she's like, what phone number did you put it under? And she pulls it up my phone number, and the person who took the reservation spelled your name wrong, so the name didn't pop up. So that's a hassle. So they get all that straightened out, and you get over to your table, and there's no water and there's no waiter, because that particular waiter, and I waited tables in college, that particular waiter had 5 tables and they all got sat at once. So he can't get to all 5 of those tables, or she can't get to all 5 of those tables. So you're waiting for that. And then they finally come, and then maybe a bus person comes over. So that's another employee. Think of all the employees here: the person that answered the phone, the receptionist, the waiter, the bus person. The bus person comes over and gives you some water and says, hey, your waiter's kind of, busy right now. They're in the weeds. And that's a restaurant saying, by the way. They'll be over in just a second. So they come over and they're like, hey, I'm really sorry. I got sat in all these different tables all at the same time. Have you guys had a chance to look at the menus? And they say, no, we haven't gotten any menus yet. So that person has to leave and go get the menus and bring them back. And then you finally get the menus, and then you decide what you want, but now you can't find the waiter again. And then they finally do come over, and then you order your food and you're waiting. The kitchen's really backed up right now because 2 people didn't show up at the kitchen. So they have a reduced staff in the kitchen right now. And it takes, 45 minutes to get your food, and it should have taken 20 minutes. And you get your food and you're finally done, and but no. In the middle of your meal, you want some ketchup. Okay. You wanted ketchup, and there's no ketchup on the table, and you can't seem to find your waiter. So you talk to another waiter that's walking by, and he says, can you find my waiter? I need to get some ketchup. And finally your waiter comes over and says, can I help you? And you say, yeah, can I get some ketchup? So he goes back to the kitchen, comes back, get your ketchup. You finally finish your meal. You'd like to have dessert, but this is all taken so long that you're not going to have dessert because you got to get out of there. You just don't have time. You don't have time for all this. So then you ask for your check, and the waiter brings over your check, drops it off in one of those little folder things, and takes off, and you put your credit card in there, but now you can't find your waiter again. So you're waiting. The waiter finally comes back and takes your credit card, walks off, runs your credit card, brings it back to you, sets the little folder down, and your meal is done. Okay. That's the end of the process. How is AI going to affect this? All right, let me tell you how AI is going to affect this. AI can do every single job you just heard about. They can do all these jobs. So let's start off first off with your smartphone right here. I got a smartphone. I'm going to go to my smartphone and find the restaurant that I want to eat at. And then it's going to show me the wait time at that restaurant. Okay. I can say, well, I want to come at 6:15, and it says, well, it has a slot at 6:30. Good enough. So I put in that I'm going to come at 6:30, and there's 5 people in my party. And in the meantime, it shows me the specials of that restaurant. What's going on at that restaurant? I can look through the menu before I even get there. When we get there, there's not a receptionist. But unlike the first scenario, there's an iPad there, or there's a little check-in screen. And I'm going to hit a button, and I'm going to put in my reservation code or my phone number or however they identified me. And it's going to say, okay, you are, checked in now. Your table's being cleaned. It's going to be table 42. And then a map's going to pop up, and it's going to show me where table 42 is in relationship to where I am right now. So when my table is ready, it's going to send me a message on my phone, and it's going to say, you can proceed to your table number 42. Here's the map again. It's going to pull up on my phone. I'm going to walk over there. I'm going to sit down at the table. And somebody who does bring out water, which is a little robot, has already set water on the table. So I've got my 2 waters on the table. My menu is on another iPad on the table. Plus I've got it on my smartphone right here. I can look through the menu, decide what I want, hit all of the options. I want my steak medium rare. I want a baked potato. I want, butter and sour cream and all that. And then I hit enter, and my order is being processed. I didn't have to wait for anybody to come over at all. Okay. It just came over. Let's see here. Some people are popping in. We've got Richard. What's up, buddy? We got to get together. You're in Houston. You're too close there. We're going to grab a lunch or something one day. And we got somebody else just popped in. Starbucks coffee. Good to see you. Well, you really know your restaurant stuff. I own one in Newmarket, New Hampshire for years, and you brought back so many memories. I really wish we had this back then. Hello from Myrtle Beach. Spy balloons, South Carolina. That's too funny. Yeah, that's right. Spy balloons are everywhere. They're everywhere now. That's the next thing they're going to scare us with. I don't know what happened to Ebola, and I don't know what happened to killer bees. And some of you are too young to remember that, but it's always something they want to scare us with. So anyhow, we've ordered our food. The robot comes out. Oh, no. We've ordered our food and it goes back to the kitchen. But in the kitchen is a Japanese robot that can make recipes and wash dishes at the same time. And do I think this is going to be invented? No, I've already seen it. I've already seen the robot that can literally, on one half of the machine is making food, the other half is washing dishes. So now it's cooking my food for me, and it's also cleaning up after other people. The food is then put on the robot. The robot comes out to the table and says, take your food. I take my food off the robot, put it on my table. I notice I need ketchup. So I hit the little button on my little iPad there, and it tells the robot I need ketchup. So while it's going to the kitchen to get other people's food, it grabs ketchup too. And that's called consolidation. It does several things at once, which a lot of waiters have never figured out. And as it's going to deliver food, after it delivers the food, it comes by my table and it delivers the food first. Here's the important thing, because the food's hot, so it wants to deliver the food fresh to the people, and it knows ketchup is not hot, so it's going to deliver my ketchup after it drops off the food. Then it's going to go back to the kitchen and get more, and it's going to pick up plates, right? It's going to pick up plates, dirty plates. This is something that blows my mind. In restaurants, they will say, do you want your check? And I'll say, yeah. And they bring out the check, but they have not cleared the plates. And when the plates are still there, how can I sign the check? I'm like pushing my dishes out of the way like this. I'm putting the folder down. I'm like, man, I wish this stuff wasn't in my way. That's not going to happen in the restaurant of the future. So look what we've done here. We've gotten rid of the person on the phone. We've gotten rid of the receptionist. We've gotten rid of the busboy. We've gotten rid of the waiter. We've gotten rid of the cook. We've gotten rid of the dishwasher. You don't think restaurants are going to do this? I bet you they are. I know they are. You go into most McDonald's right now, and there's one cash register. They're down to one already. They just built one on 29 up here, State Road 29, I think it's called. And they have one cash register, and they've got about 12 ordering stations inside the restaurant. And then they've got a little window over where you pick up your food and they yell out your number. So when you place your order, you get a number. And you can, get it picked up. Now, this restaurant tells you can sit down, they'll bring it out to you. They don't. And at some point, they probably will. They'll have a little robot that'll bring it out to you. But restaurants are going to change dramatically. Okay. If you are in the restaurant industry, you had better listen to this video and you had better get another job, because it's going to be gone. Now, some of you will say, well, really high-end restaurants, they need a specific chef that's really good at this stuff. Maybe. Does that really good chef sometimes go out and party the night before and he's not on his game the next day? The robot never will. It's always going to be on its game. So maybe there's still going to be some chefs. They're going to be innovative and come up with new recipes. But I know I can go to ChatGPT right now and say, I want a new recipe in a Southern style for fried chicken. And I like these seasonings, but if you can think of some more that complement these seasonings, put those in there and give me all the steps I need to make this fried chicken, and it'll spit it out for you. If you haven't tried ChatGPT, guys, I encourage you, go over to open.ai and go down to the bottom. I think it is, look for ChatGPT and set up an account. All you have to do is put in your email and create a password, and boom, you've got free information, the entire internet. Now, I'm going to tell you one more thing. I'm going to leave you with this. The internet's going to change. Think about this. When you go to Google right now and you type in any type of search term, how many results do you get? And you're going to say, well, millions. And then which one is the best? Well, I don't know. I have to click on each one and figure out, which one's going to be best for me. What if you could prompt ChatGPT to go out and find the information for you and tell it specifically what you want? I want a veterinarian in Georgetown, Texas, who's been practicing for at least 10 years, who uses holistic methods, who believes in positive dog training, and spends a lot of time with their patients. And it's going to pull back the vet for you, the one that matches your search better. Now, how much better is that than using something like Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever you're using to find information on the internet? Google is really worried. As a matter of fact, Google has already announced that they're coming out with their own AI, as has Bing. They've already announced they're coming out with their own AI. They have to. They've got to change. I know they're big now. I know they're making billions or trillions of dollars now, but they see the writing on the wall. Do you see the writing on the wall? Because it's coming. And if you're in any kind of job, it's going to affect you. You have two choices: sit back and get taken over, adopt this technology and make a ton of money. You make all the choices. Okay. It's all up to you how you handle this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to adopt this technology and I'm going to make money with it. I hope you enjoyed today's training. If you did, I would love if you subscribed. I want you part of the Fisher family. Hit that subscribe button down there, turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so that you're notified each and every time I go live or if I upload a new video. I really appreciate you as a human, okay? As a human, not AI, because I'm real right now. You know, I don't know, maybe I won't be real in the future. Hopefully I'll be real in the future. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming to this channel. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your participation. I want to help you out. So anything you need help with, please feel free to put it in this chat section. If you're watching this and it's not live, which is like 99% of the people, put it in the comment section below. I come back and I answer all those comments. I'm going to be doing a lot more on ChatGPT. I want to do some training for you guys so I can walk you through exactly how to use ChatGPT. I think that's really important that you're in there. I'm going to have to do it and record it, and I'm going to have to record it because right now it's up and down all the time. So I don't know if it's going to be up or down. So when it's up, I'm going to record a screen recording of me using ChatGPT so that you can use it and you can make money too. Thank you so much for watching. Go out and be kind to somebody. Love you. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later.